Hello to you, fellow being. Infinite Spiral here, and we are back as usual in Kerbal Space Program. Now, in our previous episode, we delivered an asteroid to Minmus and put it in orbit, which was part of a contract, which is fantastic. We accomplished that quite effectively. The other part of the contract we were going to do was land on Minmus and go perform some visual surveys, and that part failed miserably because of a miscalculation on my part during the building phase, where we included a stack decoupler instead of a stage separator. And so the stack decoupler got stuck on the ship and was blocking the thrust from the engine, and yeah, just doomed that whole part of the mission. So we stole the fuel from it and used it just for the asteroid capture mission. And in the comments on that video, one person mentioned that if I were to burn just with the engine for some amount of time, the decoupler would eventually overheat and explode. And that's super good advice. I didn't even think about that, but that's absolutely something that would be possible to do if I hadn't already taken all the fuel out of it. So, I mean, it's possible that I could... In fact, yeah, let's try real quick to see if we can redeem that real quick, because there's still some fuel left in the asteroid redirect, the Minmasteroid probe. So there is still some fuel in there. I think, yeah, it's actually quite a bit of fuel, more than enough to fill the tank. So yeah, I'll go give that fuel or some of it back and see if we can get that to happen. That is a better plan than what I had previously chosen to try, which was to send an expensive rescue mission. So instead of that, let's just try and redeem this mission with what we have here. So we're gonna just go ahead and release the asteroid and disarm the claw for now. We'll have to rearm it to grab on, but let's see. Oh, forgot we're also pretty far away, so that rendezvous might be sort of costly. I mean, I could just orbit until Minmus gets back to that thing's orbit, but that would be super wasteful on time, and I've got some contracts that are a little time sensitive. I've got 7 years left on 2 of them. One of them is the one that we're working on right now. But the other one, we are not, and we can't really afford too much. I don't know what Minmus's orbit period is. I'm going to go check that real quick at the Space Center. So let's see. Minmus. That's what we want to look at. Where do we get that other screen where we get to see the information about all the different bodies? Space objects, no, what the hell? Oh, I think that's actually in, yeah, that's in mission control, never mind. Or is it? I guess it's not. Perhaps the astronaut complex. Also no. Crap. I forgot how to navigate this damn game. Is it in R&D? It is in R&D. Okay. Well, in that case, we want to look at Kerbin and Minmus. What can we see about Minmus? Does that tell me anything about the body? It doesn't. Crap, we did need to be in the Space Center. Or the tracking station, rather. Okay, well, in that case, let's see if we can look at Minmus, like so. Okay, there we go. Information. Okay, where are you? Sphere of influence, rotation period. What's its... I don't know what I'm looking for. It's the orbital period. It's not its rotation, that it would be its revolution period. Well, that information doesn't seem to be available. Interesting. Okay, well, I get the feeling it actually doesn't take that long for Minmus to orbit, so tell you what, I will quick save right here. Alright, so we're just gonna time warp until Minmus gets closer to this orbit again. And I don't think that's gonna take years, probably a couple of months. I don't really know Minmus's orbital period. Yeah, it's definitely in the months, judging by how many times the moon is going around. But let's start, I think, right about there. Because it's going to take some time to escape from Minmus, and while we're doing that, we'll be going towards that point of intersection. And hopefully we will get to it right, or we'll get to our escape right as we get to things, right as we get into that same orbital area. So let's switch back to the, oh, that's not what I want, the Asteroid or probe. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we want to escape from Minmus while also trying to bring our orbit in, which is going to be, let's see, where are we right now? It looks like we mostly want to burn west. So let's get pointed that way. Okay. And we're also going to be messing with our inclination, which is south. Or would it be? No, I think it would be north. Yeah, we need to be burning west and north. So that's roughly here. I'm going to just give it a go. Alright, just a full burn until we escape from Minmus. Okay, that's looking like that. And if we continue that, it starts looking like that. Okay, interesting. That's definitely going the right direction. And it looks like we've... let's set the lander as the target real quick. And right now we are at negative 5.1, and that is still decreasing, which is what we want. So we'll keep going until that starts increasing again, which is right about now. Okay. So we're pretty close to the same inclination on one plane or one axis, but we're gonna have to fix that as we escape. So there's that. And we also need to still bring our periapsis in quite a bit, which would be... that's tough to judge without escaping first, so I'm going to go ahead and escape from Minmus. Okay. And what's going on here? It looks like we have some sort of interaction with something, or we haven't yet escaped from Minmus for some reason. There we go. Okay. Alright, so we need to burn retrograde at this point. And just bring our periapsis down somewhat, although... I sort of feel like we should leave it alone for a while, because we don't have a lot of fuel to waste messing around with this, and if we try and make our adjustments at the periapsis after bringing it down, that is going to be very wasteful in terms of fuel usage. It would be much better to do things at the apoapsis, which is basically where we are in terms of what we want this thing to look like. So, yeah, I think that's what we're going to have to do. So it's going to be catching up to us, and our closest approach right now is... yeah, we're not even close. It's well, in front of us right now. We have to go all the way around, and then it's there. Yeah, I'm gonna burn retrograde, bring our periapsis down. Just because that's gonna be necessary in the long run anyway. And I'm keeping an eye on these intersect points as we do this, because there's a chance that we might get an interaction during all of this. And I really wish that this wasn't here, this planned maneuver. I think that's on the other craft. I don't know, I've never actually left one of those up before. It's a little cluttered. But that's about it. So we're going to have to burn prograde at the periapsis. And, you know, obviously we're going to have to set up a rendezvous, which will mean changing things, but we can fix our inclination down here at the descending node. So that's going to be the next step. Where's the ascending node? Okay, yeah, that's much closer to Kerbin. So that's the descending node is where we want to make our adjustments. Alright, so that fixes inclination, and we'll still have to burn prograde and set up a rendezvous. What's our fuel situation? Still good. Alright, so let's just warp to that maneuver and fix the inclination real quick. Alright, and that is done. Inclination is now 0 degrees. Perfect. Okay. And we do need to fix our orbit so it's more closely aligned. Yeah, that's going to be a radial out at the periapsis, which is a little wasteful. I don't like it. Let's see what that's going to cost. 6-second burn, 100 meters per second. That's not terrible. We can work with that, and that's actually a little bit too much even, so that's no big deal. We can do that. And looks like that actually gets us out pretty close. So it's just a straight radial out when we get to that point. So let us warp to that maneuver. Alright, quick little 6-second burn. Not quite even that. Let's, yeah, that looks like it's pretty much it. Just a little bit prograde is what we want. So right now, where is the lander? I do not see it. Is it out there? Yes, it is. So we are at opposite points of the orbit, which is terrible. So let's actually prograde a little bit so it can catch up to us even more effectively. You know, obviously we don't want to quite escape, but that's the basic idea. So we're going to bring that out, and it'll have a lot more time to catch up to us when we're out at that apoapsis. Fuel is still good. In fact, let's push it even further. Okay, that's the escape point, so we'll bring it in just to the edge of Kerbin influence. Like so. Okay, so Kerbin's sphere of influence ends between 80 and 90 million meters, 80 and 90,000 kilometers. Wait, what? That seems wrong. Oh well. In any case, we're going to go ahead and do some more time warping while we allow the lander to catch up. Also, this messiness from this other maneuver is bugging the crap out of me, so I'm going to go get rid of that real quick. Okay. All fixed. That's much cleaner to look at. I like it. Alright, so now, what are things looking like? Oh. Is that... No, never mind. That's it's a maneuver that we don't need. I don't know what it was doing there. I guess I just hadn't deleted it. But right now we need to reset the target. And we have lots of separation and no good approaches at this point. So we're just going to keep time warping and keeping an eye on everything. Okay. So now it's going to be approaching as we come in, which is a little ugly. We probably should have left our apoapsis a little bit closer, but I failed to realize just how extreme that was going to be, so... Alright, now if I make I'm gonna make a maneuver here at the periapsis again and just see if we can get some kind of interaction sometime soon. I don't want to just keep going around and around over and over again. Alright, well I'm just gonna do a little bit of a retro burn at the periapsis just so it's not quite so extreme, because right now it's looking like roughly 2 orbits of Yeah, the lander has 2 orbits for every one of ours, maybe more, but it seems like they're sort of synced up in a way that makes it impossible to ever rendezvous, so here we are, little retro burn. Just bring that down to there even. Okay. And now, more time warping. This is tough. It's traveling so slowly at the apoapsis. We both are. Actually, it's... Ooh, that's a pretty close approach there. Okay. Let's just keep time warping. I don't know, it sort of seems like I could meet up with it on this pass if I did something complicated and fuel consumptive. So let's just see what we can work with here. Alright, nope, we're still too far ahead of it. I don't know, maybe with multiple burns, but ultimately that seems a little extra wasteful, so we'll just go ahead and warp to there. And, well, not quite to the planned intersect. So we need to do something about here, maybe? Alright, well, I'm just wasting a lot of time messing around with these maneuvers, so what I'm going to do is head out to the apoapsis, bring our periapsis roughly in line with the target, with a slight, ever so slight retro burn, like so. And now we're going to do the rest of this planning here at the periapsis, because right now it's coming in behind us. As we approach down there, it passes us, so we could foreseeably my vocabulary is just failing me miserably today, but yeah, we could potentially catch up to it on this pass. So we're just going to do a slight retro burn here at the periapsis so that we can catch up on the same pass. Potentially. Apparently, I really don't like making rendezvous with highly eccentric orbits. This is sort of painful. I do not like it. I do not like it at all. So let's just do a bit more time warping and watch as it passes us after we get... Because, I mean, right now... Yeah, see, we're approaching right here. And obviously it is accelerating faster than us at this point. But it really seems like we should be able to catch up. It's... Yeah, definitely gonna do a retro burn here at the periapsis so we can catch up on this pass. I'm tired of screwing around. I just want to get this done. This is only the first part of the mission. This is just to refuel that thing. Alright, so let's bring that in, like so. A little further even than that. And now we will be catching up to it. And let's go even a bit further. Don't want to go too far, because that makes things terrible. But here we go. And that was too much, so we're going to go back to prograde. Plus a slight radial out since we're past the periapsis. So right about there. Okay. Okay, yeah, we can get a pass on it on this one as we come back around to the periapsis, so need to back that off a slight amount. Actually, just maneuvering brings that closer and closer, so... By maneuvering, I mean turning the ship in space. So, right. Yeah, just the slightest amount does wonders. Wonders! Okay. Yeah, we're catching up. Oh, yes. So we're going to watch this happen. And when we get close to passing it, then we'll start our radial out to meet up. Right about here. So let's just plan a maneuver. Just to see what that's going to look like. Alright, so it's looking like we probably should have done this even a little bit earlier, but as it stands, we're not in a terrible position, so we're just going to burn basically straight at the target and bring that orbit out. Still no approaches showing up. We'll keep going. And we're going to keep approaching it, and as we get to that crossing, then we can make our changes to the maneuvers, to the trajectories rather, because here we are still approaching. We haven't yet crossed, we haven't yet passed it rather, in our orbit. But that is very close to happening here. And it's already happened, so now it's time to bring that back down. Actually, no. No, this is fine. We'll just match its orbit, because we're not going to be that far separated when we get up there. And we're just going to be futzing about with this at this point. Yeah, we're further separated than I expected, but that's just fine. Alright, so that's going to be a radial in. Okay, so right now it's going to be behind us. What? That must be after a full revolution, or rotation, or something. Okay, so that was a little too far radial in, or... Yeah, we're still on the inside, so we're going to prograde. Push our orbit out. Let it catch up to us a little bit. And proceed from there. I'm doing this all wrong. I'm trying to let gravity do too much of the work. You know, because gravity accelerates the inner orbit faster as you go around. Oh, okay. Shouldn't have been in time warp. Shouldn't have had my finger off the damn keyboard. Okay. Yeah, this is taking too long. I'm just going to fast forward for you until we get the rendezvous, because it's probably really boring to just hear me go, oh, we passed it, it passed us, okay, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that, and I mean, we've done this a dozen times. This shouldn't be a problem. Well, boy, looks like I already had it set up right. Sort of. Our separation right now is 110 kilometers. That's not bad. Right now, our difference is 5 meters per second, so we can just rush directly at the thing. And that'll get us... Oh, wow. We had an intersect there that was really, really close. Okay. That tells me all I need to know. Yeah, we get a 2 kilometer separation right there, it looks like. Which is just enough to switch over. Well, we don't need to switch over. We're not doing any EVA. We're actually getting a full rendezvous and docking with the thing, so that's just fine. Here we come. Okay, gonna be visual from here on out because it's clearly visible. Yes, 3.3 kilometers that away. So, just gonna fly straight at the thing. And rendezvous, dock, and all that good stuff. Here we come. Alright, getting close enough that this thing should be armed. And we're already traveling pretty slowly. I'm going to bring it down actually under 2 meters per second, because it seems like even a really low velocity like 3 is enough to make the thing bounce. So, just going to kill off some more velocity. And there. So here we come. A little more time warping to bring it closer. Alright. This should be no problem if I had my orientation right, which I never seem to. Oh god, here comes the bounce. Alright, just gonna get my orientation and make another attempt at this. Alright, there we go, that should be no problem. Grabbed. Got it. Okay, time to transfer that fuel back over. Holy crap. This had better work. Alright, so we're going to transfer to here. Transfer it all in. And yeah, that'll take roughly half of what was on there. A little more than half. Just to fill it up. And obviously we're going to have to use a lot of it, well, some amount of it at least, to try and burn up this friggin' decoupler. God, that is so stupid. Apparently the fairings got taken off of it as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and detach and switch back over, just for safety's sake, to disarm the claw. So don't want to accidentally bump into it and crash the game when I'm not controlling it. Just in case that hasn't been fixed. But alright, full burn. Let's try and break this goddamn decoupler. Okay, well, I've gone through half a tank of fuel, and even though the thing is clearly blocking all the thrust, it doesn't seem to exist in terms of actually absorbing that energy, that heat from the engine. I haven't seen anything appear on it. I can't right-click it, so I can't see any information about it. And it basically just doesn't exist, except for to block our force, or thrust. So this was an enormous waste of time. Oh, goodness. Looks like we're gonna have to go with the backup plan. And that's gonna be time-consuming. This episode's gonna go out really late, probably like midnight, maybe even tomorrow. Son of a bitch. Yep, this is doing nothing. I'll finish off this tank of fuel, and provided that nothing happens, which I'm assuming will be the case, we'll just go back to the quick load, back when everything was still in, you know, relatively good situations. Maybe even reattach this thing to that asteroid so we can use that fuel for some other purpose later on, because this was absolutely pointless. It was a good thought. I just wish it had worked, which clearly was not the case. Alas. Yep, there goes all the fuel. I tried deploying the gears to see if that would change anything. It didn't. So, back to the quick load. Let's see, that asteroid's still right there. We'll just rearm this, latch back on. I mean, there's no real reason to do that, but I'd rather not have these things bouncing off of each other when we're not controlling them. You never know. Something terrible could happen. So we will just grab on and... oh, hello. Lost my orientation through camera rotation again. You would think I would learn. But no. Grabbed. Okay. Everything is set. We'll just leave that right where it is, being eclipsing the sun very nicely there. Sort of. Okay. Plan B. Space Center. So this contract only pays out 141 grand. So the ship that we send up to rescue it has to be relatively inexpensive. So I went ahead and built a relatively inexpensive ship. And where are you? There you are, the Minmus Un-Dumbifier. Because that's what this thing is for. We are undumbifying the thing that happened, I guess. About 54,000, 55,000 actually. And yeah. So we'll get, you know, that times 2 back. Not quite, but so dumb. Let's just launch this thing. And I haven't tested it. It's yeah, really simple rocket. Have no idea if it's going to be capable of the task. I think it will. I think it'll be fine for it. It might even be too much for it. Who knows? But we're going to try and plan this launch to coincide with the lander passing over Kerbin, just to sort of simplify our rendezvous process. Because, you know, if we were to launch right now, we'd have a crazy orbit coming off that side, or coming off this side, rather. And we'd have to make our adjustments, and it would still be coming in and catching up to us, which means we'd have to push our orbit outside of it. So I'm basically going to launch when the launch pad is about, you know, there or so, maybe even closer to the target orbit, and when the lander is almost passing overhead. Maybe, yeah, I've never really done this kind of thing before, but I think we're going to try and time it so that the lander is roughly overhead. So that's the plan there. We're just going to time warp as those things come into place. And it passed us. Okay, well, that's fine, because we're going to be on the inside of its orbit anyway, and we'll be catching up to it as we push out. So, we still need to get to the right place for the launch pad, which will be right about here-ish, I think. So we'll do a slight time warp to get to there. Okay, right about there. It's not necessarily the best launch window, but hopefully, I'm really hoping it's gonna work. So we'll go ahead and set that as a target. And that maneuver is still in place. Damn it. Forgot about that. Gotta switch over here. Get rid of that clutter up crap. Get out of here, clutter. Okay. Back to the space. No, damn it. It's fine. I just added an extra step. Could have switched back to it from the map screen instead of going back to the Space Center, but that's fine. So, let us go ahead and get this launch underway. I did make sure it was unmanned, yes. Yeah, nobody in it. Excellent. Here goes. Also, the inclination that we want is southeast, it looks like. Little under 45 degrees in that direction, so yeah, I'll be basically eyeballing it, but hopefully we can get something close. Be about on that line. Alright, good news. This thing, with one engine, it doesn't weigh so much that we can't continue to accelerate, so I'm happy about that. I was a little concerned having not tested this thing before, but seems pretty stable, and hopefully everything works out. So we'll go ahead and fast forward until some sort of orbit gets established. Hopefully. See you there. Alright, so we've got our orbit, and we've got a maneuver set up that gets us relatively close to the thing. And that's going to be a 40-second burn. I'm pretty sure we have that. Already at about half a tank on this stage. And after that, the rest of the fuel is supposed to be mostly just for the landing maneuvers. And also the return to Kerbin. So that's cutting it a little close, but I think we'll be able to manage this. So, let's just... oh, apparently we passed the node. Should have been doing this a while ago. I was not paying close enough attention to how soon things were supposed to happen. So, let's just get that done and try to get out to the rendezvous. And I'll probably fast forward through all of this until we get to the actual rendezvous, because you've seen enough struggling with that process. Well, now that didn't go at all as planned. Jesus. Apparently a few seconds makes an enormous difference when you're this close to the planet. Okay. Well, we'll have to fix that from here. This time not miss the burn. But anyway, back to the fast forwarding for you. Alright, we've got our rendezvous. It's right there, 400 meters away, no problem. We're just gonna hop out of there. Little EVA with Jeb. He doesn't have anything to grab. Let's just get out of here. Where is the target? Sort of down here some. There it is. Okay. Let's rush over that way. And let's not lose track of things from the change in camera, which I believe was from perhaps deorbiting. We may be on a Kerbin collision course, I'm not totally certain. But we are approaching now at this point. Yes, indeed. Okay, so we need to go a lot more vertical and probably a bit less forward. But we're just going to get this approach, and yeah, this is no problem. Here we come. That was maybe a little bit dangerous. Didn't realize we still had such a difference in velocities, but everything's fine. There was no disaster. He didn't smash into it and explode, which was a very distinct possibility. So let's just grab on, get in, and get on with it. Excellent. Okay, the Jeb rescue is complete. Now we just need to bring this thing to Minmus, and wow, we still have a lot of fuel. Excellent. That's good news. So, right now our periapsis is probably pretty low. We can unset that target clearly. There we go, that'll make things easier. Now, what is our periapsis? We don't have a periapsis. That would explain it. So, gonna do a bit of a prograde burn. Provided I can find prograde. There it is. Alright, let's bring that periapsis up. Actually, let's bring it into existence. Excellent. Okay. And now we have a full stable orbit. Excellent. Now we need to wait for Minmus to get back around to here in order to effectively do this. I mean, we've got a decent amount of fuel. We could actually try to, meet up with Minmus in the really inefficient way of matching its orbit and rendezvousing that way the way we just did. But I think it would be better to wait around and meet up with it later, because, I don't feel like wasting all of this fuel. And potentially wasting more of the lander stage. This fuel isn't that important, but the lander stage fuel is pretty important, although, as usual, we probably have way more than is necessary. So anyway, let's fast forward until the rendezvous is possible with Minmus. Also failed to consider just what our orbital period was going to be, so we're not really traveling any kind of velocity right now, and Minmus is catching up, but we've already passed the apoapsis, but we're going to be rushing into the center right as Minmus comes out here, so yeah, we're going to let that happen, and we're going to make adjustments close to Kerbin so that we can set up the Minmus rendezvous. That's the plan. Because there it goes. Okay. So here we are. It's just like we're launching for the Minmus setup. It's just like we just launched, basically. Oh, but our inclination is all messed up. I didn't think about that. Probably should have fixed that from there. Oh well. Let's set Minmus as the target. That'll help. And I'll go ahead and fast forward everything from here until we actually get out to Minmus. Because that's going to take a little bit of time and effort as well. See you there. Alright, so we've got an encounter with Minmus all set up, and it wasn't quite as costly as I expected, but I did make a mistake by not fixing my inclination when I was out at the apoapsis earlier. So some time went by, Minmus passed, and we're going to have to wait until it goes around again, but we will meet up with it at that point. So let's just get to that, shall we? Excellent. We've got our Minmus encounter. Let's get an orbit set up and established. Just warp to periapsis, get our retro burn, and do all that good stuff that we've seen so many times. You know what this does. You know how this works. Okay, orbit established. Now, where are our visual survey sites? That's what's important. Let's actually just get this orbit way down there. That'll make it a lot easier. Be able to actually see things from the orbit. That looks good, and warp to periapsis. Alright, get some more retro burn, bring the apoapsis down, get this thing roughly circularized, and it looks like we're going to be coming in pretty close to one of the sites on this pass. So maybe we don't worry about the orbit so much, although we still need to do that. Okay, so that much is done. And yeah, we're coming down right over one of them, so that's perfect. That's Rondeau's Crevins. Jesus Christ, my lips and tongue are failing. Rondeau's Crevice, that's the word. So let us just get down there. We'll go ahead and set it as a target. Well, activate navigation rather. Don't know why that's a different command. It performs the same function essentially. It's just, it's a little bit different. But that one is, let's get a look at things real quick. No, not Gilly. Where are we? Visual surveys of Minmus. Rondeau's Crevins. What the hell? Crevice. Space flight below 5200. Okay, so that's actually not even a landing site, so I should have done that from, much closer to the planet, or the moon, rather. So let's just fix inclination and head over to here, because, those sites are right next to each other. That's handy, because those both have to be from the ground. There's a surface sample and, an EVA report? Yes. So we need to find north, burn that way, fix inclination with a normal burn. Like so. Excellent. And we'll just go ahead and land over there. Which is... I am still on this stage, so... yeah, I guess we'll just drop it. There'll be some fuel orbiting here. That's no problem. So, here we go. Dropping that off. That'll stay right in that orbit. And if we ever need some extra fuel, we can go grab it, I guess, if we have a claw. So that's fine. We don't need to be in the crevice. Now, let's fix our navigation and activate it for there instead. So we will go ahead and get over there. And get ready to land as we enter the area. So let's get pointed towards retrograde. Excellent. Do a little more time warping. Okay, we've already entered the area. Perfect. So we'll change that to surface velocity, because that'll give us a little bit more useful information. And we're just going to push the retrograde up to the pole. And land. You know how it works. It's super simple. So here we go. I'll see you on the ground. And we are down. Now, are we still in the site? That is the question. I do not know. I guess I could, let's see, I think we're in beta if we're in either of them. So let's just take a surface sample real quick and see if it gives us credit for it. Oh my goodness. Okay, well there goes a solar panel. Wow. That was silly. Oh my goodness, okay. Let's grab a surface sample. And indeed, we did not get credit for it. Let's take an EVA report. Okay, we're definitely not in the site. We broke off a solar panel for nothing. That's my fault for accidentally putting it on sort of offset in a stupid way. I meant for those to be, more symmetrical in terms of where the opening is. But once I placed them, I couldn't change where they were because of that weird glitch. So in any case, let's get back in, get over to the site, and get this completed. So I'll probably fast forward until we just, get both of the things and proceed from there, because, once we get those, we still have to get back to Kerbin and land, and all of this is very time consuming. I really want this to be one episode. It would be dumb to split this into multiples, because not a lot is going on. So, yeah, let's get this done. I'll see you there. I'll see you when I see you. Alright, we've got our EVA report from Dinkelstein's, or is it Steen? Dinkelstein's Curse Alpha. So, let us get over to the beta. In fact, I think we'll just EVA over there, because it's very, very close. Just slightly northwest, which is, impossible to find. I have no compass. Maybe I'll just go visually. There we go. So, that's, alright, that's southeast. So we need to go opposite from the dot. Which is over this way. Excellent. Yes, there we go. Sort of facing the right way. Let's just get over there. Oh, we had to travel like 20 feet. 5 meters? Yes. 6 meters. 8 meters. Not far. Not far at all. We were right next to it. Okay. Let's get our surface sample. Excellent. Now, we just need to go get our EVA, or crew report, below 5,200 meters, near Rondeau's crevice. And can we get off of this, please? I almost took off my helmet without an atmosphere. That would have been silly. Well, they wouldn't let me, apparently. Otherwise it would have happened and everything would have exploded right there. I didn't know what that button did, now I do. Anyway, let's get over there. Alright, I've got myself an extremely low orbit set up. Below 5 kilometers the whole way around. Well, almost. But the whole thing is underneath what it needs to be for the crew report. So let's just get right over there and take it. Alright, we've entered the crevice. Doesn't really look like a crevice, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of a crevice right there. Anyway, let's take our crew report real quick. Excellent. Contract complete. Now let's bring Jeb home. That's enough. He's been stranded for far too long. Alright, where is everything? Let's just get this set up for the return trip and get out of here. I'll see you on the ground. Sound good? Excellent. This is also going to be my first Kerbin re-entry since the update to 1.0.4, so that should be probably scary. Excellent. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll see you done. Probably at re-entry, maybe on the ground. We'll see. Okay, well, the new re-entry physics actually seem a little bit more forgiving, which is pretty surprising to me. But, yeah, here we are. We're back on Kerbin. We even got a nice ground landing. Nothing... Not splashing down in the water. Everything is perfect. Let's get down to the surface and recover this thing and be done. Oh no. Well, crap. We broke the, what was that, the SAS or the... Yeah, the reaction wheels. That's okay. We can still recover the bits separately and still get all of our funds back. Recover vessel. And we even got some science back. Excellent. And some XP. And we have the building glitch again, but let's head into the space, or the tracking center real quick, and just recover that wreckage. Debris show. And where is it? Should be somewhere, I have no idea. There it is, I think. No? What's going on here? Ah, there it is. Okay. Let's just recover that and get some funds back. Excellent. Everything is complete. And we got a little bit more funding. Hooray! So, as the sun sets on the Kerbal Space Center, so too shall it set on this episode. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to leave a like, and if you'd like to see more and aren't already subscribed, go ahead and, subscribe if you want to. That's up to you. But we'll see you in the next episode in any case. Thanks for watching.